Welcome back, everyone, to Wolves After Dark. Timberwolves win against the Utah Jazz. Rudy goes back to Utah and wins. Um, Exciting game. Maybe too close, but also the Jazz have been better this year. Um, a lot of things to discuss in this game. uh, from D'Lo's fourth quarter, which was like amazing, but also crazy, to Gobert being super aggressive, dunking everything, trying to posterize everyone, not just dunking everything. Like every time he had the ball, he was like, "How do I posterize the next person that I see?" Um, so that was crazy. And having a great defensive game for the most part, but a pretty bad offensive game until maybe his last couple buckets, but like realistically, not that great. Um, and obviously, all the three-point shooting of the entire Utah Jazz, they're just able to hit everything from Kelly Olynyk to Malik Beasley to everything. And then the little dust up at the end of the game. It's just like there's so many elements to this uh, that make this such an interesting game, and it's fun. You know, it's fun that the Jazz are actually good. Because if Jazz weren't good, this wouldn't have been a fun game. This would have just been like whatever, who cares? Um, but man, Aston. So first off, Headshot, who may not be here anymore. Hi, chat. D'Lo like that. A1 him. Spoiler: he's gonna be an A1 tonight. I mean, there's just no way. There's no way we can't give him A1. Uh, D'Lo knew he was doing that without coach approval. Honestly, I mean, this is the thing with D'Lo that we expected maybe to see a little bit more. Was we were thinking, or at least I was, because we've seen some of these performances with D'Lo when he was on the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, he'd have these games, even when with the Lakers, like he would have these games where he would just hit these like dagger buckets after dagger buckets, and it's like you can't come back emotionally from that. And you could even see Jordan Clarkson on one of the threes. I think when they went up 98-93, he's like he just goes like, "What the heck? Like, how are we supposed to stop this guy?" Exactly. That is what he is supposed to be like, and we rarely get that. We get that like once a year, maybe twice. But man, you watch that. Oh, I didn't watch the interview with the lumberjack hat. The only thing I saw on Twitter was C&D show sharing out that it was Chalang. I can't say his name. I'm sorry. Chalangason. I'm saying that wrong. I'm so sorry for butchering it, but got a good question out of him. Um, but I didn't actually watch the whole thing. But I did see the lumberjack hat. But man, what a what a game. Um, but yeah, you hope to see more of that from D'Lo. You hope to see a lot of. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're not going to get 6 out of 6 in the fourth quarter shooting wise, but he basically said he knows the coaches don't approve of his methods. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I did not see this. I should watch this then. I didn't realize it was like that. I do think, my takeaway is a little bit different because I do have certain people on the team that I don't like as much. But I do think that Towns not being on the team right now and being sick, or not sick, what am I saying? Being injured, um, is a good thing for the team right now. Not because I think that he's necessarily addition by subtraction kind of a deal. It's more so that we get to see D'Lo with a little bit more room to operate. We get to see Ant with a little bit more room, and even Gobert. And seeing all three of those kind of be I hate using these terms because it just is whatever, but like the big three, like them being the big three of our team, I think gives our team just a lot more fluidity, and they're going to come up with their own way. And this gives D'Lo. I mean, you can't like if you have four talented offensive players, and I guess Gobert's not an offensive talented player, but like he is a player that can get lob dunks like he did tonight. He can obviously get offensive rebounds and putbacks. Like these are his things. Um, but it just gives Ant and D'Lo especially a lot more room to be able to really shine. And D'Lo got that opportunity tonight, and he made it. And so I'm very curious to see what happens with D'Lo and Ant for the next, I don't know, like month or two, however long it is that Towns is out. I saw Towns out there tweeting that he misses basketball, and then he tweeted that meme of Russell's crazy face. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. I did not know that, Aston. I'll have to check that out. But what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna do some tier lists, um, rank the players tonight, and we will. What else will we do? That might be it. We're not gonna do a ton because there's a game tomorrow night. And for me, this is a great time because it's only 8:51 for me out here on the West Coast, but I know for all of you in Central Coast or Central Time Zone and other areas of the world, this is not necessarily the best time. Like I know, I'm not sure JBX. I can't remember what time zone this is for you, but I can't remember if this is good or bad for you to have this later or not. Um, but either way, I know it's late, so I won't keep you too late. But anyways, let's just jump right in. I did kind of want to take a look at something else actually. So one thing, speaking of the dust up after the game with Beasley getting mad at Rudy for laying in it, which like a part of me is like I kind of get it, because it is like the end of the game. Like, why are we doing this? I mean, it is his home to like his hometown. There's elements to this. It's not just Rudy putting in an extra point, an extra bucket at the end of the game. But Mason FRFR on Twitter, I'm going to share this. So this was the game that I don't know if you guys can. This was the game I think at the end of the season, and Vanderbilt is dunking with a second left, and they're up already. Like it's over. Um, so it's the same thing. And the Jazz announcer, there's their code. Just hold on to the ball and let the clock expire. I mean, and I don't know what Beasley's getting so mad about. Like he had such a good game. There's no need for him to be talking like that. But just thought that was interesting, worth sharing. But the tier list. So the things that I always forget, I got to pull up stats when I'm by myself. Ashwin, don't worry, guys. If you don't know, Ashwin is not gone. Ashwin is just busy. So Ashwin will be back. It's just me for right now. And honestly, it's barely me. Obviously, I missed the last game and I may miss more games. It's just there's a lot of busyness happening right now. But I figured why not? He's mad at us in general. True. His bench wiggle too. Like that was crazy. Also, Dila pushing him made me really think more about like, okay, do these guys not like each other back then? Um, maybe not. Maybe it was just a friendly shove, like stop kind of a deal, but it did make me think a little bit. Um, but okay. Box score for tonight. By the way, we won 118 to 108. I was gonna say something to something again, but I figured I should stop doing that. Makes me seem stupid. Um, okay. Definitely a friendly shove? Okay, good. I just looked at it, like, briefly, and I couldn't tell if it was friendly or not. So, good to know that it was friendly. I was definitely concerned. Um, okay, so who are we doing first? Let's do Kyle Anderson. Oops, where am I? I lost myself. Ah, Kyle Anderson, where are you? There you are. Okay, so Kyle Anderson, uh, 15 points. Wait a second. What am I looking at here? Is this really what happened? Kyle Anderson? What? Okay, Kyle Anderson played 35 minutes. Is this the right game? Is this the right year? Is this what is happening? 15 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals and a block, and 7 of 9 on free throws. Am I Is this correct? There's no way, right? I mean, I knew he was out there diamond, but like I didn't think it was like that. That's insanity. Okay. Wow. And I knew he was making some buckets too. All right. Anyways, I'm just flabbergasted right now. Kyle Anderson, I thought he had a good game. I didn't realize how good it was. We're gonna give him a grade, and honestly, I kind of think that this has to be an A. I don't know if I can give him A1. I mean, like obviously, I didn't even realize that he had these stats, but this is like a solid Kyle Anderson game. And as always, it always feels good to have Kyle Anderson out there. We had those moments where we had Nas and I think it was we had Nas and Rudy out there, and that didn't feel super great. That's when the lead started kind of going away from us. Um, but man, I'm just like still shell shocked at reading 12 or 15, 12, and 7 for Kyle. What the heck? I guess an amazing game from Kyle Anderson. Um, and he was making buckets early too. Yeah, A. Aston says A. Um, okay. Whoops. I have like Bryn Forbes in here. What happened to this order? I did not. I put the order in there first. I thought it was weird. Whoa, and this is all over the place. Okay. Let's do this. Let's get Austin because I'm like jumping all over. I did want to touch on some people. We won't do Wendell. I mean, he just didn't do much. So block too. Yep, he had. I mean, he had everything. He really had everything. Let's do Nas because I didn't mean to jump straight to Kyle Anderson, but let's get Nas out of there. So 17 minutes, 12 points. Um, he had 3 threes. He did have 2 personal fouls that happened, I think, pretty quickly, and 4 turnovers. So honestly, for Nas, he had oh yeah, he did have those two. It was like back to back goaltends too, but then he had a block after that. It was an okay game for Nas. I mean, he made some critical threes. By the way, if you're new here, C is like what we expect out of a player, so this is maybe a little bit better than we expect. Um, yeah, I think a B. I think a B is fair. I'm kind of on the fence between C and B. So since we won, we move him up. I like that. And then Jalen Noel played 20 minutes, had 9 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Was a +9. Jalen felt good out there tonight. He didn't feel like he was forcing too much to me. He was 4 of 8 from the field. And it felt like the buckets that he was taking were like quality for the most part. And he had some really good plays too. Honestly, this also might be a B. It's weird because you expect more production out of him points wise. But like I think this was a good night for him. I felt good with him in there, similar to how I feel with Kyle Anderson in there. So I'm gonna give Jalen Noel a B as well, even though it's a little bit on the this is just not it's not like your stereotypical B game for Jalen. Typically a Jalen B would be like 15, 16 points or something like that. But it just worked tonight. I did want to touch on Austin Rivers. So Austin Rivers had 5 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Hit one, splashed 1 3. Also had a crazy move, a couple crazy moves tonight to cross over to the defenders. Um, so that was fun to watch. And defensively, he looks good on ball. He moves really well. This is like a fun. This is a fun game for him. And this is one of those games where you see the value in somebody like Austin Rivers being on the team. Um, it's hard to judge these like players that are deep on. I mean, Austin Rivers isn't deep on our bench. He played 19 minutes tonight, but like he's like the eighth man, seventh, eighth, ninth man, or something like that of the team. Probably eighth or ninth. So, what do we expect out of a player like that? It's tricky. So for the tier list, it's like weird. I'd say probably, man, I almost want to give him an A just because it felt good, but I think I'm going to give him a B. I'm gonna give him a B. You guys can, if you disagree, please let me know in the comments. But I think it's a B, maybe a B plus. It just wasn't like insane, but it was definitely a really good game from Austin. Um, but also, oh yeah, J Mac went down with an injury. Hopefully that's not too bad. Wendell Moore played 3 minutes. That's not. I mean, it was nothing. That was out there. He was out there with that Nas and Rudy lineup. So, um, yes, no 6 man. I agree. Um, Okay, who do we have left? We have Anthony Edwards. I was gonna say Nas Reed. Oh yeah, Jaden. We gotta do Jaden too. Let's throw Jaden in there real quick because Jaden had um, an okay night. This was a Jaden night. I mean, there were some fouls in there. There were some nice buckets in there. Nice finishes at the bucket. Um, but yeah, it was okay. He had 11 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 5 of 7 shooting. Um, did have a steal. Whoops, I just put everything all over the place. There we go. And he had a 3. Played 32 minutes. This was a good. I mean, this feels unfair, but like I think it was probably just a C game for him. This doesn't mean that he had a bad game. This just means this is kind of what I expect out of him, right? I mean, this is a Jaden game. Wasn't any better, wasn't any worse. If this was every Jaden game, I'd be happy. Of course, we all think he can do more than this, but D'Lo, I mean, just D'Lo had the show tonight, so that's all that really mattered. Um, okay, next up, let's talk the big three, as I referred to them earlier. Let's start with Ant. So Ant, 34 minutes, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 3 of 14 shooting. Whew. 3 steals, um, and then he was 6 of 6 from the line, so he did get to the line a little bit. He was a plus 11, but that's sort of, I mean, that's like not important. He had 4 personal fouls, some of which I think 2 of them I really, there was one defensive play. I understand he got like a little bit too much, but there was a play that he had against Mike Conley, I think at the end of the first half, where he was hounding him on defense. Like that defense was like insane, insane defense. They called a foul, but it was like, woo, that was exciting to watch. Just the speed. It's fun to watch like explosiveness on defense and not even blocks. Just like he's just so able to like move laterally. He just understands the angles a lot of the time. Like obviously he's still young and figuring out like how to not foul in certain situations. Like he ran into the 3-point shooter that one time. But like, well, he kind of ran into them. Um, but man, his defense is fun to watch when it's super locked in like that. Um, Man, I want to see more of that. You know, as much as I love the dunking Edwards, the 3-point Edwards, the step back Edwards, it's all about the defense for me. It's so exciting to watch. And I think it just gives our team so many opportunities if we have a player that's defending like that. Like that's with Rudy back behind him. Like there's no way, you know. That's why I love our chances against like in the playoffs against playoff teams. I know they can switch off, but man, we have options now. We have Jaden, we have Ant, we have Rudy. Like those 3 right there. And then you can throw in Austin Rivers. It's just it's exciting. But anyways, I think I'm kind of just on the same page as Aston tonight. I think this has got to be a D game. I hate saying that because I love Ant, and I I see a lot of people on Twitter very quick to call out Ant, but very slow, and even some people that still don't even realize the shortcomings that Towns brings to the team. And of course, I'm Team Ant. I know, I know, I'm very biased when that comes up, but and I'm like anti-cat, but um, I do think that we just need to be patient. It's only in his 3rd year. Like this is different. I understand that people don't like when we criticize Towns, but Towns is in his 7th, 8th year. Like this is different. This is different. But I agree with Aston 100%. D, because he's good. We expect a lot. That's what it is. You know, we expect more than this from Ant. Although the defense was good at times, although he made some buckets near the end, just you gotta have more than this. You can't go 3 of 14. You know, if this is like their one game to go 3 of 14 for the year, okay, that's fine. You can have a bad shooting game. And D doesn't mean that we think this is like your stock going forward. This is just right now tonight. Um, just got to find other ways, which he did. So D is fine. Okay, on to the hometown hero, Rudy Gobert. I don't know if that's what I should be saying. 36 minutes, 22 points, 13 rebounds. He was 8 of 11 shooting. He took a 3 tonight, which was really just that half court heave, which looked like it was going to go in. He was 6 of 10 on free throws. He was a team high plus 15. And he did have 4 fouls. Again, though, these fouls, I felt like the fouls against Ant and Rudy were kind of BS tonight. Like there was that one where he was being grabbed and pulled, and they called it on him. And it's like a point in the game where you just don't challenge, but it's also like such an egregious, it's such an egregious call. I hate that that is how it is called. I hate the challenge system in the NBA. The challenge system in the NBA cannot be you challenge once, even if you're successful, it's gone. You're done. Like that can't. It has to change in whatever happens next with the league, like the CBA or however this is chosen. It cannot be like this. It's the worst. Like how I understand they don't want to slow the game down. I understand that it's not fun to wait for reviews, especially with how long they take sometimes. I get that. I hate that. I hate that it brings down the crowd. I hate all of that stuff. But some of these calls are so egregious that you could just call a challenge, boom, quick monitor review, and done. It's just, man, even just two, because then you could be like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to spend one on something that maybe isn't as important, and then save the other one for the end of the game. But anyways, I'm ranting about fouls when I should be talking about Gobert, who had a great night. This was a good night for Gobert, And I wish that he played with this level of intensity every single night. I don't maybe he does, and it's just been hard for him to do this without Towns or with Towns in the lineup, but, like, I want him dunking like this all the time, all the time. He should be forcefully getting and rebounding tonight was way better as well. Um, so I mean, I know he has high rebound games, but the rebound quality tonight felt much better to me. Like he's in there, not just getting open rebounds, like he's actually tapping the ball up to himself. He's just there was just an aggressive level, and I understand that it's like an emotional game for him. So maybe he can't give this level all the time, but like this felt like the old Rudy Gobert that you saw in Utah, um, and I want this all the time. Yeah, I want this all the time. But with that being said, I think for a grade tonight for Rudy Gobert, I'm gonna go with I don't know, maybe an A. I'll give him an A. I'm kind of in between an A and a B because realistically, this is kind of what we hope for out of Gobert. I've had really high expectations of Gobert going into the season, even with Towns in the lineup. I understood that maybe some numbers would take some hits, but like you would hope that he has like the impact in the game. And tonight I felt impact both with screens, with with rebounds. How many block did he even have a block tonight? I can't remember. No, he didn't. Um, but just his presence though, I mean, he obviously affects shots even if he doesn't block them. But um, I think it's Rudy plus slow mo figuring itself out for tonight. Yeah, I like the Rudy slow mo combo. I did not love the Rudy Nas combo because that's kind of the same thing as Rudy Towns, which has not looked great this season. And maybe it's just going to take time to figure that out. But winning these games right now is just huge. I know it's early in the season. I know that this isn't like some crucial game, but these are momentum games that can change it. And tomorrow you play again immediately. So to win a game like this is just big because now you don't have to worry about like I mean, like you still want to win tomorrow, but like if you lose, it's not like, oh my gosh, now we have to play even harder the next night. Because I think they play in Portland tomorrow and then they play in Portland again on Monday. Um, so you'd love to win a Portland game. You'd love to win a Portland, if not both. Um, but anyways, I'm getting off topic again. Gobert is an A. He's an A. And finally, we're not going to do all the others that are down here. We're just going to do D'Lo. There's not really much suspense here. I think we all know what D'Lo was tonight. He played 36 minutes, had 30 points, 2 assists. He didn't need to pass it to anybody tonight. He was 12 of 16 shooting. I believe he was 7 of 7 in the fourth quarter. He was 6 of 9 from three. All 6 of those threes happened in the fourth quarter. He had a block tonight. 3 turnovers, only 2 personal fouls. This is an A1 game. I mean, this is like shades of that. Um, what was that game? Oh, against the 76ers. Was it just last year? Um, where he was just, we were going into overtime. Like he was just hitting three after three. But this felt better. You know, the way the ball was going in and just the net was like ripping every time. The one of the last threes he took, I was just like, no way, no way, because like we haven't seen this D'Lo very often. We saw it in that 76ers game, like I said last year. We saw it a little bit in the play-in game, but this was like special. This was a nice. This was obviously an A1 performance for him, um, and thank God. Like we needed a performance like this out of him, and this is why I really do like having just D'Lo, Ant, and Rudy in the game right now versus not having Towns. Is that you would need defenders to take D'Lo seriously to make Gobert work in the offense. You have to have somebody, or you're gonna have to teach Ant how to do pick and rolls, because apparently he said something in an interview about like he never did stuff like this. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like basically he was saying that he's never really worked with somebody like that before. Um, so like if you have that ability, you're just suddenly going to get lobs to Rudy. You're going to get a lot of dump down passes to him. Like it just opens up the offense so much more to the flow that Chris Finch talks about. Um, So yeah, I want that. I want more of D'Lo being able to score. I want more of Ant being able to score, and I want more of Rudy dunks. All of these things are going to lead to playoffs, and not just playoffs. They're gonna lead to decent playoff runs. Now, if we're really gonna get down to like nitty gritty, like I don't know if that is enough to get us to like a finals, or deep, deep playoff run. Um, it gets us past the first round probably, but how far past the first round? That's the question. And working once Towns comes back, we're gonna have to work Towns back into the offense, which may be humming by the time he gets back. Like if we're really working and like D'Lo's out there really doing well, Ant's out there doing really well, and Gobert's getting his lobs and dunks and stuff like that. I mean, this is gonna be difficult to work him back into the offense. But right now it's fun. It's fun right now. So, like I said, next up, let me pull up the schedule again. We've got tomorrow night at I'm thinking Western time. It's 9 Central tomorrow night, and then 9 Central on Monday night, and 9 Central on Wednesday night. So we've got a bunch of West Coast games. West Coast person very happy here. Um, so that's exciting for me because that means that I probably will be able to do all of these shows. I should be able to do tomorrow nights. I should be able to do Monday nights, and I should be able to do Wednesday nights. Um, I think Ashwin has gone through at least the 15th, so it might just be me for these other ones. Oh yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe. We do this after most games, um, games that I feel happy enough to do them. Um, and so yeah, we play Portland Clippers. Okay. And right now, if we look at the standings, let's go to the NBA app, or maybe I should just pull it up here. Let's go to the NBA. How do I go to standings? Boom. Again, this is way too early. Like you can't be doing standings right now. But we're 13 and 12, which we just brought the Jazz down to 15 and 13. And this is just how crazy the West is. Look at this. From the 11th seed to the 1 seed with the Pelicans right now. I haven't even looked at the top in so long. I saw that Zion threw down a dunk at the end of the game, very Rudy-like tonight. But it's 4.5 games that separate this. Oh, decline. But it's 4.5 games that separate this. This is just like crazy. Oh, I might not be sharing my screen. Oops. So sorry. There we go. This is insanity. We've got the Golden State Warriors are 13 and 13. I mean, Golden State's going to be better in this. They should be better in this. And I think they're just taking it easy in the beginning of the season. Look at the Thunder. The Thunder, I mean, they haven't had a good record lately, but they're 11 and 14. And then the Lakers are 10 and 15. They have lost 3 in a row. They had won quite a few in a row, I think, though. Weren't they like 8 and 2 or something? I don't remember. The Spurs and the Rockets are who we thought they were. So I'm not surprised about that. But wow. Well, this is good. I mean, we want to move ourselves up a little bit. Now, think of this. If we can win some of these Portland games, not only is that, I mean, again, way too early, and I'm just getting way too into it for right now. But imagine if we win these 2 games against Portland. That puts us in such a good spot, not only in the standings, but just separates the Blazers from us and puts a little bit more pressure on them. Also, some tiebreaker situations certainly would be helpful. And I mean, yeah, there's just a lot going on here. And is New Orleans going to be able to sustain 17 and 8? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, they've won 6 in a row. The Grizzlies, obviously, we know how good the Grizzlies can be, but we can also beat the Grizzlies. So, these are all teams that are beatable. I don't know. I kind of like this. But yeah. Well, I think that's all I have tonight. So if you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000. It's never going to happen, but we're trying to get to 1,000. And Ashwin will be back eventually, but he's busy, and I may be busy too. So don't be surprised if there's not shows coming up. We will be doing shows again. It's just that I have a lot going on. I have photo shoots, I have work, I have lots of stuff, apartment stuff. I've got moving. There's just like too much going on. So, anyways, I appreciate you all for tuning in. I will likely be back for Saturday's or tomorrow's game. I will likely be back for tomorrow's game. Again, a late game, so be ready for that. We usually go live after Timberwolves Daily. If you haven't checked out Timberwolves Daily, please do. You're probably familiar with both of us, but probably more so Timberwolves Daily. But that is it for me. I will play the intro as the outro. 52 wins is still possible. And we will see you tomorrow night.